Have you ever wondered why we bring evergreen trees into our homes or light up the darkest nights of the year? The story of Christmas begins long before the first Christmas was ever celebrated. It starts with the rhythm of the earth itself in the deep, cold heart of winter. Ancient people all over the world paid close attention to the sun. They watched as the days grew shorter and shorter and the nights became longer and colder. The winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, was a time of both fear and hope. It was a sign that the sun was at its weakest, but it also promised that the light would soon return, bringing with it warmth and new life. This was a powerful moment, and it called for a celebration. And in Northern Europe, ancient tribes like the Norse held a festival called Yule around the winter solstice. This was a 12-day party filled with warmth and light. Families and friends would gather together to share huge feasts, drinking beer and ale they had brewed specially for the occasion. They would bring a massive log, the Yule log, into their homes and set it ablaze, letting it burn for all 12 days of the festival. This fire was a symbol of the sun, a beacon of light meant to conquer the darkness of winter. The smoke from the log was thought to ward off evil spirits, and its ashes were saved to bring good luck in the coming year. It was a tradition built on hope. Meanwhile, in the warmer lands of the Roman Empire, people also had grand celebrations in December. One of the most famous was Saturnalia, a week-long festival that began on December 17th. This was a time to honor Saturn, the god of agriculture. And what made Saturnalia so special was that all the normal rules of society were turned upside down. Schools and businesses closed, and people decorated their homes with wreaths and greenery. Slaves were often served by their masters, and everyone exchanged gifts. It was a time of pure joy and freedom, a wild party where everyone was equal for a little while. Romans lit candles and bonfires to chase away the darkness, a practice that echoes in our modern Christmas lights. These ancient traditions were all about one simple, beautiful idea: finding light in the darkness. The Romans also celebrated another important day on December 25th. This was the birthday of their sun god, known as Sol Invictus, or the unconquered sun. It was a day to celebrate the sun's victory over the long winter night. So, long before this date was associated with Christmas, it was already a day of great importance, a day for parties, gift-giving, and filling homes with green plants like holly and firs. These plants were special because they stayed green all year long, reminding people that life would always return, even after the coldest winter. These ancient customs laid the groundwork for the holiday we know today. When Christianity began to spread across the Roman Empire, it faced a world already full of rich traditions and beloved festivals. Early Christians didn't actually celebrate the birth of Jesus. In fact, for the first few hundred years, birthdays weren't considered very important at all. The Bible itself, in the Gospels of Matthew and Luke, tells the story of the Nativity, but it never gives a specific date for when Jesus was born. Scholars have looked for clues, like the mention of shepherds watching their flocks by night, and many believe this suggests a birth in the springtime. So if Jesus likely wasn't born in December, how did we end up with Christmas on the 25th? The answer is a wonderful example of how cultures blend and adapt. As Christianity grew, church leaders in Rome had a clever idea. Instead of trying to outlaw the popular pagan festivals that everyone loved, why not join them? They saw that people were already celebrating on December 25th to honor the sun god. They were already lighting fires, giving gifts, and feasting with their families. So in the 4th century, the church made a historic decision. They officially chose December 25th as the day to celebrate the birth of Jesus, whom they called the light of the world. This was a brilliant move. It allowed new converts to keep their cherished traditions while giving them a new Christian meaning. This decision transformed the holiday. The celebration of the unconquered sun became the celebration of the birth of God's Son. The bonfires and candles that once honored a pagan god now symbolize Jesus as the light that came into the world to guide humanity. The gift-giving and feasting of Saturnalia were folded into the new Christian festival, becoming expressions of joy and goodwill. It wasn't about erasing the past, but about building upon it. This blending of old and new is what made Christmas so powerful and helped it spread so quickly. People didn't have to give up their favorite parts of winter. They just had a new and profound reason to celebrate them. So Christmas became a holiday of two parts. It was a solemn religious day for attending church and reflecting on the spiritual meaning of Jesus' birth, but it was also a joyful public festival filled with the same merrymaking that had been happening for centuries. This combination made the holiday deeply meaningful to a wide range of people. It connected the sacred story from the Bible with the ancient earthly joys of surviving another winter. This new holiday, born from the ashes of old traditions, was ready to take its place as the most wonderful time of the year. A perfect mix of solemnity and celebration that would continue to evolve for centuries to come. As the Roman Empire faded and Europe entered the Middle Ages, Christmas truly came into its own as a major festival. It became a 12-day marathon of feasting and fun that lasted from Christmas Day all the way to Epiphany on January 6th. For most people who worked hard on farms all year, this was a much-needed break from the daily grind. It was a time when the whole community, from the Lord in his castle to the peasants in their humble homes, could come together to celebrate. The holiday was both a holy occasion marked by church services and a secular party filled with food, drink, and music that lasted for nearly 2 weeks. The centerpiece of a medieval Christmas was the feast. People ate and drank more during these 12 days than at any other time of year. Wealthy lords would hold enormous banquets in their great halls, inviting everyone from the surrounding lands to join in. The tables would be overflowing with food, and including roasted boar, pies, and special sweets. The Yule log, that ancient pagan tradition, was still burning brightly in the hearth, keeping the hall warm and festive. It wasn't just the rich who celebrated, though. Even poor families would save up to have a special meal, sharing what little they had with friends and neighbors in a spirit of generosity and community. Music was everywhere during a medieval Christmas. This is when the tradition of caroling was born, but these weren't the quiet church hymn carols we might think of today. Originally, carols were lively, secular songs in everyday languages like English or French, not the formal Latin used in church. They were songs for dancing and celebrating. Groups of revelers would go from house to house, singing at the top of their lungs and expecting a drink or a bite to eat in return. This practice, known as wassailing, was a fun and sometimes rowdy tradition where people wished their neighbors good health and a good harvest for the coming year. However, the holiday's boisterous nature eventually caused some trouble. By the 17th century, a new group of stern religious reformers, the Puritans, came to power in England and its American colonies. They viewed Christmas as a wasteful pagan festival with too much drinking and partying. They believed the holiday had lost its religious meaning and was an insult to God in a move that seems shocking today. The Puritan government in England actually banned the celebration of Christmas in the Massachusetts Bay Colony in America. Celebrating Christmas was made illegal in 1659, and anyone caught feasting or taking the day off work could be fined. This ban didn't last, but it showed just how wild Christmas had become. After the American Revolution, Christmas wasn't a very big deal in the United States. In fact, Congress even held its first session on Christmas Day in 1789. For many, the holiday was still associated with the rowdy public celebrations of the past, involving lots of drinking and boisterous crowds roaming the streets. This kind of chaos didn't fit with the vision of a new, orderly republic. Now, in the early 19th century, particularly in cities like New York, a group of influential writers and thinkers decided it was time to give Christmas a makeover. They wanted to transform it from a disruptive public carnival into a quiet, peaceful, family-centered holiday celebrated in the privacy of the home. A few key figures led this change. The writer Washington Irving was one of the first. In his 1819 collection of stories, The Sketchbook of Geoffrey Crayon, Gent, he wrote charming tales about an old English Christmas. He painted a nostalgic picture of a kind-hearted squire who invites local peasants into his home for a warm, joyful celebration filled with harmony and goodwill. These stories were incredibly popular in America and presented a new, idealized vision of Christmas. They suggested that Christmas should be a time for bringing families and communities together in a spirit of peaceful generosity, a far cry from the drunken street parties that were common at the time. This new focus on a domestic, child-centered Christmas was a deliberate effort to calm the holiday down. By bringing the celebration indoors, these reformers hoped to protect their property from holiday revelers and create a more respectable way to mark the day. The idea was to make Christmas a time for parents to lavish attention and gifts on their children, turning the home into a magical space. This was a radical shift. Instead of a holiday for the whole community in the public square, it became a holiday for the nuclear family behind closed doors. This American reinvention laid the foundation for the Christmas we know and love today. The transformation was a huge success. By the mid-1800s, this new version of Christmas had taken hold across the country. In 1870, President Ulysses S. Grant officially declared Christmas a federal holiday, cementing its place in the national calendar. This wasn't the rowdy festival of medieval times or the banned holiday of the Puritans. This was a new American Christmas, one that emphasized family, generosity, and the innocent joy of children. This reinvention was so powerful that it would soon be exported back to the rest of the world, complete with its own unique cast of characters and traditions that were born right here in America. One of the most important parts of the new American Christmas was the creation of a brand new holiday hero, Santa Claus. The story of Santa begins with a real person, a kind-hearted bishop named St. Nicholas, who lived way back in the 4th century in what is now Turkey. He was known for his incredible generosity, especially for secretly giving gifts to the poor. Legends of his good deeds spread throughout Europe. In the Netherlands, he became known as Sinterklaas, a tall, stately figure who rode a white horse and left gifts for good children in their shoes. When Dutch immigrants came to America, they brought the stories and traditions of Sinterklaas with them. The modern Jolly Santa we know today was truly born in New York in 1822. A professor named Clement Clark Moore wrote a poem for his children called A Visit from St. Nicholas, which you probably know as 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. Moore took the gift-giving St. Nicholas, combined him with elements of Dutch Sinterklaas, and added a whole lot of his own imagination. He transformed the stern bishop into a jolly old elf with a round belly and a magical sleigh pulled by 8 tiny reindeer, which he even named. His poem created the definitive American image of Santa Claus, a magical, cheerful being who arrives on Christmas Eve to deliver presents to all the good children. But people still needed to know what this new Santa Claus looked like. That's where a famous illustrator named Thomas Nast came in. Starting in 1862, Nast drew a series of cartoons for Harper's Weekly magazine that gave Santa his iconic visual identity. Drawing inspiration from Moore's poem, Nast made Santa a full-size, cheerful man with a big white beard. He dressed him in a red suit trimmed with white fur and gave him a home at the North Pole, complete with a workshop full of elves. Nast also created the idea of Santa keeping a naughty and nice list to decide who gets presents. His drawings were seen by millions and became the official portrait of Santa Claus in the minds of Americans. Thanks to Moore's poem and Nast's illustrations, Santa Claus became the superstar of the American Christmas. He was the perfect symbol for this new child-centered holiday. He was not a stern religious figure, but a magical, grandfatherly friend to children. He embodied the spirit of generosity and wonder that the 19th century reformers wanted to promote. This American-made Santa was so charming and appealing that his image quickly spread around the world, becoming the universal symbol of Christmas, gift-giving, and holiday magic. The journey from a 4th century saint to a jolly man in a red suit was complete. Alongside Santa Claus, another powerful symbol came to define the American Christmas, the Christmas tree. Like, many other traditions, the idea of bringing evergreen trees indoors during winter actually began in ancient times. Pagans used evergreen boughs to celebrate the return of life during the winter solstice. But the modern tradition of the decorated Christmas tree, well, that started in 16th century Germany. Devout Christians would bring decorated trees into their homes. And some stories say that the Protestant reformer Martin Luther was the first to add lighted candles to a tree, inspired by the sight of stars twinkling through the branches of a fir tree on a winter night. For a long time, the Christmas tree was mostly a German custom. When German immigrants came to America, they brought their beloved tradition with them, but honestly, many Americans were suspicious of it, viewing it as a strange foreign practice. It took a little help from the British royal family to make the Christmas tree popular. In 1848, the Illustrated London News published a beautiful drawing of Queen Victoria, her German husband Prince Albert, and their children gathered around a decorated Christmas tree at Windsor Castle. Queen Victoria was a major trendsetter, and this one image changed everything. 2 years later, an American magazine, Godey's Lady's Book, reprinted a version of the royal family's portrait. However, they cleverly altered the image, removing the Queen's crown and Prince Albert's sash to make the family look more like a typical middle-class American family. And the magazine presented the Christmas tree as a wonderful new tradition for every home, and wow, yeah, the idea took off like wildfire. Suddenly everyone wanted a Christmas tree. It was the perfect centerpiece for the new family-focused Christmas celebration that was sweeping the nation. By 1856, even the president, Franklin Pierce, had a Christmas tree in the White House. The Christmas tree quickly became a symbol of home, family, and holiday magic. Families would gather together to decorate it with homemade ornaments, popcorn strings, and candles. The presents brought by the newly famous Santa Claus would be placed underneath its branches, building excitement for Christmas morning. The tradition became so popular that it created a whole new industry. Farmers began growing Christmas trees to sell in cities, and businesses started producing glass ornaments and other decorations. The simple German tradition, with a little help from royalty and a savvy magazine editor, had found a permanent home in America. As Christmas became a beloved family holiday, it also became a huge opportunity for business. The new traditions of gift giving and decorating meant that people needed things to buy. Department stores were among the first to see the potential. As early as the 1840s, stores began using Santa Claus in their advertisements to attract families and children. They created elaborate winter wonderland displays and even hired men to dress up as Santa so children could visit him and tell him what they wanted for Christmas. This turned holiday shopping into a magical experience and linked the joy of the season with the act of buying. The world of entertainment also discovered the power of Christmas. In 1939, the Montgomery Ward department store wanted a fun handout to give to children during the holidays. They asked one of their copywriters, a man named Robert L. May, to create a story. May wrote about a misfit reindeer with a glowing red nose named Rudolph. The story of Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, was an instant hit, and millions of copies were given away. A decade later, in 1949, May's brother-in-law, Johnny Marks, wrote a song based on the story. The famous singer Gene Autry recorded it, and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer became one of the best-selling Christmas songs of all time, adding a new unforgettable character to the holiday's mythology. Music and movies helped to create a shared national feeling about Christmas. During World War II, the song White Christmas, written by Irving Berlin, became a powerful anthem of longing and hope. It was first heard in the 1942 movie Holiday Inn, and it resonated deeply with millions of soldiers spending Christmas far from home. The song's gentle nostalgia for a perfect, snowy Christmas became an essential part of the holiday's emotional landscape. Similarly, Frank Capra's 1946 film, It's a Wonderful Life, wasn't a big hit when it was first released, but it found a second life on television. Its message about faith, family, and the value of a single life made it a beloved holiday classic. These iconic songs, characters, and movies helped to commercialize Christmas, but, they also enriched it. They created a common culture of Christmas that everyone shared a year, regardless of their background. Rudolph Frosty the Snowman and George Bailey became as much a part of the season as Santa Claus himself, and of course the economic impact was enormous. Today, holiday spending in the United States totals billions of dollars each year, from gifts and decorations to food and travel. The once quiet religious holiday had become a major engine of the economy, all while creating the stories and songs that define the season for millions. After World War II, a new invention began to make its way into American homes, the television. This new technology would change Christmas forever, bringing the holiday's magic directly into people's living rooms in a brand new way. The 1960s became a golden age for animated Christmas specials, creating a new set of traditions for the modern era. These shows brought families together in front of the TV and became just as much a part of the holiday season as decorating the tree or singing carols. They were annual events that an entire generation grew up watching, and they continue to be loved to this day. One of the most beloved and surprising of these specials was a Charlie Brown Christmas, which first aired in 1965. The show was commissioned by the Coca-Cola Company, but its creator, Charles Schulz, had a very specific vision. He insisted on using real child actors for the voices, which was unusual at the time, and he included simple, jazzy soundtrack instead of a typical cartoon score. Most importantly, Schulz was determined to include the true meaning of Christmas. He had the character Linus walk to the center of the stage and recite a passage from the Gospel of Luke, explaining what Christmas is all about. The television executives at CBS were horrified. They thought the show was too slow, the animation was too simple, and the religious message would turn viewers off, and they were convinced it would be a complete disaster. But when A Charlie Brown Christmas aired, it was a massive success. Half of all the televisions in America were tuned in to watch it. Viewers loved its gentle humor, its heartfelt message, and its courage to be different. The special won an Emmy Award and became an instant classic, proving that there was still a deep desire for meaning and sincerity amidst the growing commercialism of the holiday. The power of television also brought Christmas to a place no one had ever imagined: outer space. On Christmas Eve of 1968, the Apollo 8 mission became the first manned spacecraft to orbit the moon. As the astronauts circled the barren lunar landscape, they broadcast a message back to Earth. They spoke of the beauty and vastness of space, and then, as the world watched and listened, they took turns reading from the book of Genesis. The Christmas message from the moon was a moment of profound unity and wonder, connecting the ancient story of creation with the cutting edge of human achievement. It was a powerful reminder of the holiday's ability to inspire awe, even from 240,000 miles away. In the late 20th and early 21st centuries, another technological revolution arrived: the internet. Just as television had done decades earlier, the digital age has reshaped how we experience and celebrate Christmas. The rise of e-commerce sites like Amazon has completely changed the way we shop for gifts. The frantic dash to crowded malls is now often replaced by the click of a mouse. New shopping holidays like Black Friday and Cyber Monday have become major events in their own right, extending the commercial season and turning holiday shopping into a global 24/7 phenomenon. The internet has made it easier than ever to find the perfect gift and send it anywhere in the world. The internet and social media have also changed how we share our holiday experiences. Instead of just sending Christmas cards, we now post pictures of our decorated trees on Instagram, share our favorite holiday recipes on Pinterest, and send video messages to relatives across the globe. Digital platforms allow us to connect with loved ones in real time, no matter how far apart we are. We can watch our nieces and nephews open their presents over a video call, or share in a friends' holiday traditions through their social media feed. And this digital connectivity has made the world feel a little smaller and has allowed us to share the Christmas spirit in ways that were once unimaginable. Through all these changes, from ancient pagan fires to modern digital shopping, the core of Christmas has remained remarkably constant. It continues to be a time for light in the darkness, a time for generosity, and a time for coming together with the people we love. The traditions may evolve, the symbols may change, and the way we celebrate may look different, but the fundamental spirit of the holiday endures. It's a story that is constantly being retold and reimagined by each new generation, adding new layers while holding on to the old. The real story of Christmas is a story of adaptation and blending. It's a holiday that has absorbed traditions from countless cultures and eras to become the rich, complex, and joyful festival we know today. It is both a sacred religious observance and a secular cultural celebration. It is a quiet night of reflection and a bustling season of commerce. It connects us to our most ancient ancestors who gathered around a fire to wait for the sun's return, and to our most futuristic dreams of exploring the stars. And that, I think, is the true magic of Christmas. Its amazing ability to change with the times while always reminding us of the enduring power of hope, light, and love.